Welcome to our show, Tough Talks Unlimited, co-hosted by Derek Bowles and myself, Michael Garth. In this show, we're going to hear from world-class leaders and innovators, people who are willing to have positive conversations and share their insights on tough talks to get you through tough times. Let's get started. Welcome to Tough Talks Unlimited. Our show is co-hosted by Derek Bowles and myself, Mike Garland. Our show is powered by Unstoppables and Maximum Execution Solutions. Today, our special guest will be John Horford, former professional basketball player and currently a lobbyist for GCSI and the founder of the Lansing Student Development Program, a program that is unlike any other in the country. Johnny, welcome to our program.
Appreciate you guys having me. It's always good to chop it up with you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, Johnny, why don't we start out a little bit and tell our audience a little more about yourself, starting maybe with your professional career in basketball.
Yeah, so I played 4 years in the G League. I played a little bit in Europe, a couple of training camps in the league, and my body I just felt beat up. So I went straight from playing professional basketball, got home that summer, got recruited into running for a state representative race by the people who are actually now in leadership for the Democratic Party. And then from there was able to create these relationships that allowed me to get my position lobbying and allowed me to start the Lansing Student Development Program. So it's interesting how things don't work out, but work out.
Right.
I noticed in your bio you played a few years over in Israel. What was that experience like?
I didn't play in Israel.
Oh, you didn't? I'm sorry.
No,
I thought you
did.
did.
No, you're good. You're good. I should have gone over and played in Israel. No,
yeah.
Right.
It's a pretty good league.
Yeah, it's a great league. It's a great league. I was I just had so much going on at home, and then I just wanted to try to get an opportunity to go directly to the league that I stuck around in the G League.
Okay.
During an interesting period of time, I was in the G League. My first year was the last year where it was really rough in the G League, and it progressively just got better every single year.
It
just continues to get better and better. Not talent wise, but just where you're staying, the food you guys are eating, where you're playing, the guys are getting paid. So it was an interesting period to be there.
Now, when you played in the G League, was there the two-way contracts, or was it just G League?
Nope, there's two-way contracts. There's the Exhibit 10 contracts. It was actually D League my last year in the
Right. Exactly. I remember that. As a matter of fact, Derek actually coached in that a little bit.
Yep. Idaho Stampede.
Stampede.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Johnny, boy, I'm telling you, man, it's really an honor for us to have you on because you're doing something that is so unique that the world or our country really doesn't have a great idea, or our country doesn't know a lot about. And your after-school program is, in my opinion, like no other. It is incredible. I mean, you bringing the kids in, you're feeding them, you're giving them a safe space to go to after school. You're giving them tutoring. You're giving them training on various sports and also strength and conditioning training.
Man.
And then, fortunately for me, you added in, a youth mentorship program. And I mean, you hitting them from every aspect.
For us, we want there. We appreciate that. It's seriously a huge difference. It really does.
But could you talk about the program and let our audience know kind of when you started it and why you started it?
So the Lansing Student Development Program came out of something that I'd already been doing every off season since I was 19, which was coming back and working with kids in the community for free. Trying to remove all barriers. Like, I'll find the gym, I'll provide the training. Kids need shoes, I helped them get shoes. Kids needed, rec specs, I'd help them get rec specs. Kids need food, we'll get, like, whatever it was, just trying to remove all barriers so kids could just train.
Right.
So then fast forward to my race, I get done with my race, I lose my state house race by 25 votes.
Wow.
25 votes, like about 10,000 votes cast, lost by 25.
Wow.
And I get a call like a week after the race. Like August 2nd was the date. So like a week later, I get a call from the superintendent of Lansing schools, who I had become, friends with essentially over the course of my race. And he was like, from Brooklyn, so he's very direct.
Right.
That East Coast.
Yeah, man. He was like, "Oh, that fucking sucks that you lost." He was like, "But you said you wanted to do something for the kids in Lansing." He's like, "Were you just bullshitting, or did you mean it?" I was like, "I mean it." He's like, "What do you want to do?" And I was just like, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was like, I need space to provide all of these resources. I wanted to do the tutoring and the strength conditioning, and food is non-negotiable. Like, there has to be meals, snacks for the kids. And I'm from Lansing, so I knew that Don Johnson Fieldhouse was underutilized in a beautiful historic space.
Right.
So I was just like, is there any chance I could get that? And at the time, people freaked out because he was just kind of like, "Yup." And you gotta check, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I was just like, it's underutilized, and this is benefiting any kid in the Lansing school district who wants to come and put in the time. So from there, it was just finding the resources, finding the right grants to fund this, getting the school district to kick in like an initial $250,000 for some renovations, putting a brand new weight room, the turf, all that upstairs. And then, we found basketball trainers, volleyball trainers, soccer trainers, yoga teachers. We have, speed and agility. We have, weightlifting, strength conditioning. We have tutoring. We have art. We have tennis. So just like a number of different offerings, completely free. Like, there is no cost to any kid to participate.
Right.
You show up, right? You can have training, food for free. Like, we got the food partnership. So like the food bank, for example, they provide the food, volunteers cook the meals. So kids are getting homemade meals every day.
Wow.
Sodexo is providing like snacks for kids every day. They get, vegetables, fruit, all of that every single day, completely free. In addition to that, we also have, the clothes and stuff that we do. We've given out over, 200 pairs of shoes, and we still have more to give out. We've shirts, shorts, socks, whatever it is. We just wanted to make sure that there was no barrier, even transportation wise. We're able to get one bus. We have funding to get numerous buses, but we just can't get enough bus drivers to transport kids to the program. Then free bus passes for any kid who comes to the program, right? So you can utilize that. So just utilize the bus system. And then if you're in the Lansing School District, you can also utilize the gas card program, which some people do, some people don't. You can get up to $50. If you drive, you can get up to $50 a month to put gas in the car to come to the program. Or if you're a parent of a kid in the district, you can get that as well. So, I mean, we're really trying to remove every barrier that we can, and then while also creating, like you mentioned earlier, a safe, welcoming environment that's, there's accountability, but we want it to be nurturing. We want it to be a place. That's why you keep seeing, the same, you guys are there, 3-4 days a week. You guys see it. A lot of it is the same kids coming day after day after day. And that's what we want. We want the consistency. We want them to buy in, long term. We want them to, hear you guys out on the mentoring stuff and learn how to look at life in a different way. Because a lot of what's holding these kids back, once we remove the barriers, some of them really do have tougher home lives, but a lot of it is just their mentality and the habits developed, through their upbringing. So I see the program as a habit development program. I thought it was so great that, you guys had reached out and wanted to bring the mentoring aspect, more direct mentoring. We indirectly work to mentor these kids through our actions, through our example, through the way that we talk to them and build these relationships day in, day out. What you guys are doing is more targeted, and it's extremely necessary, because a lot of these kids, and even if you do have a good home life, you still need good people in your life, giving you this good information, helping you to have a different perspective, helping you to be grateful and work hard and look at things in a different way than you ever have before. So, I mean, we're extremely blessed to have you guys, as a part of the program. It makes a huge difference. It has made a huge difference, and it's going to continue to make a huge difference. I mean, even like on a day like today, it was a Monday, we had over, 130 kids participate today.
Wow.
And that's just at this location. Remember, we had to move soccer off site because we had so many soccer kids, and we can't move it back. Back in a few weeks, once we can utilize the outdoor fields again.
Right.
I mean, we're really knocking on, the door of serving 200 kids a day. So,
wow.
It's phenomenal, John. And I'm just telling you, I just, to me, it's just a model program for, school districts across the country. I mean, it is phenomenal. I've never seen or heard of anything like it. Maybe there is somewhere somebody's doing something similar, but I really doubt it. It is phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. We also want to make sure, the other part is, we also want to make sure we look out for, our trainers and stuff like that. So, trainers who are doing the work are, they're all paid, they're compensated, all that good stuff. So it's and we have, the last thing I forgot to mention, esports. We also have esports, and we have some amazing with the esports stuff, because back in the day it was, don't play video games, you're just wasting your life. Now it's like, hey, you get a full ride scholarship.
Right. It can change the whole game. Change the whole game.
Full ride scholarship. They got teams.
They have teams. That facility at Michigan State is serious. It's serious.
Oh, wow.
They have a beautiful one.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
So Johnny, I'm excited, man. Everything that you guys are talking about, it just engages me, because, as you know, mentoring is such a big role in people's lives. And so I just want to ask you a question to really kind of peel the onion back a little bit. Like, what was the purpose, like what made you want to start this program? Like, what was inside of you that you said, you know what, I want to do this, and this is going to help our community? Can you speak to that for a second?
I think it goes back to my upbringing, and having some opportunities given to me that I know made a huge difference in my life. So, like, for example, Coach, I've known you since I was probably in elementary school.
Yeah, exactly.
But at that time, I was very much below average athlete and basketball player. Didn't play on any of the teams that I was on.
Okay.
We were absolutely zero opportunity, and it was through a family friend, even though he's a little crazy.
I love it. I got Larry.
He's crazy. He's a little crazy, but he has a good heart. It was through that I was able to gain confidence, gain opportunity. He'd take me to the gym every single day. And I had to listen to people in Lansing that I still run into from time to time that were like, man, like, I don't know why you're working so hard. You're terrible. Nothing's ever going to happen. You're awful. You're terrible. You're horrible. You know, all of that, to work up to the point where I was good enough to fortunately get a scholarship, get my school paid for, get my undergrad paid for, get my graduate school paid for. Because originally that was my only goal. Was I went from a kid who never played. I mean, I was like, man, it'd be a miracle if I could even make the varsity team in high school.
Right.
You know? A player who was, you know, good enough to play in college, right? Get my undergrad and my master's paid for, and then, you know, fortunately play a little bit of pro ball too. You know, I was just like, it's not necessarily about making better basketball players.
Right.
Although that does open doors, right? It's about developing habits that can benefit you in all aspects of life. So
absolutely.
So I got this crazy work ethic. Like, I mean, and you could even, you know, through my career, I had some ideological differences with my coaches. And then I also had a lot of injuries. But I mean, you could ask any coach I ever played for. I put in the work. Like, I'm really not going to get outworked. It's not and I take that into everything that I do, because I'm used to getting Larry picking me up every day after school, and we're just going to the gym and we're just working. You just put your head and you just go to work. It's the same now. It's no different, right? I'm doing the lobbying full time, and then I'm basically putting in full-time hours with the program as well. So I mean, I'm literally just working all day, but it's stuff that I love to do, and it's creating opportunities. It's fulfilling for me, because I know what kind of opportunities can be created if we remove barriers and make these connections. So I try to constantly help, you know, the students in the program make these connections to see the benefit of, you know, being coachable, listening, you know, being thoughtful, being kind, showing up consistently, working well with others, treating people well in general. It really does create opportunities. I mean, there've even been kids who have asked if they can work at the program, and I'm like, there's certain kids I would hire, and there's certain kids not hire, you know. But it's the same for life. I mean, you have no idea. I've talked to every coach in the district. I've been like, man, I was like, the amount of I hear talking about how like going to Michigan State is like their dream school, and I'm just like, hey, you know what's ironic about that? We have Mike Garland, you know, 3-4 days a week, and you guys have an opportunity to come up here and to learn from this man who has helped so many people, won so many championships, has helped so many people, right? And could even help you. But do you take that seriously? Like, do you see the opportunity for what it is? And a lot of people don't understand it. And we're trying to get them to that point where it clicks. And you guys are bringing some relationships up there. But a lot of the kids that we're working with are kids that are really, you know, they're starting late, or they're the kids that, you know, they're just not the most developed. Now, give them a few years, some of these kids are going to be some serious athletes.
No question.
But it's unfortunate that some of the kids who are a little bit more advanced right now don't understand. And I've talked to them directly myself. They don't understand the benefit. They don't see how much it would help them to come and lift 3-4 times a week with trainers that usually would cost them like $50 an hour.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To come and get reps up every day. Like, I've told kids, because there have been some coaches who have just been like, oh, well, you know, you're a big man, you know, what are you going to teach my kids? I was like, even if I was just limited to being able to teach them that, like, I don't think any of them, they don't need work on their footwork and their touch, you know, even if I was limited in that way, which I have a lot of experience, you know, training and working with kids and developing guards in particular. So that's not the case. But I mean, what are you going to say? You're going to say the same thing to Mike Garland too? Like, I mean, it's just if you want an excuse, you can have an excuse.
Exactly.
Right? Or you can come put in this work. And then we also have tutoring for you.
I love that.
Right? We also have tutoring, and very, very few of these kids have like amazing grades. amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Come help, have these tutors help you get an A on every homework assignment. And then we have food for you every day too. So it's not like, oh, I'll go there, but then I work out and I'm starving. We got meals for you, and we got snacks for you, and we have dessert for the kids every day too. You know? But some kids, they just can't get out of their own way. I mean, you know, there was the one kid who was coming to the program. I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks because, you know, sometimes it's just the arrogance, and he has a lot of potential. He's a sophomore at Sexton. He was like, man, but I'm too good for all the kids in this program. I said, play my man Marvin one-on-one real quick. Play 10 on each side. He like 10-1'd him and 10-2'd him.
Right.
Sense. But it's like, you gotta have some humility.
Exactly.
That's big.
Have some humility. We can all learn. We all have a lot to learn. I have stuff I can learn. I mean, I watch you guys work all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I could pick that up. Yep, I could start incorporating that into what I'm doing. Like, you learn from, if you're smart, you can pick something up from, you know, all the people around you if you pay attention. But we just got to get these kids out of the mindset of, oh, I'm already good enough as I am. Like, we're all continuous works in progress until the end.
Right. Absolutely.
Until the very end.
But man, you know, Johnny, you bring up a great point, man, and you know, it all starts. I know all of our success over at Michigan State is just all based on what I call relationship-driven leadership. And without the relationship part, it's not going to work. I don't care what it is. It could be a Fortune 500 company. It's not going to work without relationship and the people in it. And you know, you said something too with these kids, and you know, trying to get them to understand. And you said, you know, their egos get in the way, and you know, I still say that goes back to, you know, authentic relationship. Who are they listening to? You see what I'm saying? Because to have authentic relationship, number one, you got to have trust. You know, there has to be trust there. And then, you know, number two is communication, being able to, you know, I'm getting to know you, you getting to know me, you know, and how does that happen? That happens through us talking, which is communication. But thirdly, and most important to any type of relationship or any type of success is vulnerability. I'm going to make myself vulnerable so that I can reach out to you. I'm going to tell you about the struggles and the hardship that I have went through or may be currently going through. And then that other person needs to be vulnerable enough to share with you share back with me what they're going through. And without that, a person can't grow. You can't grow, man, if you won't look yourself in the mirror and say, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And what is it that I could fix, but I won't fix it? I won't fix it. And when if I wanted to fix it, am I going to be willing to, and I heard you talk about this a lot, and I love the word, put together a routine and take an inventory of my life and then set up a program where I can see, you know, step by step where I'm going, and is this taking me closer and closer to my goals? You know, a long time ago, I worked with a guy, and Derek knows this guy, and he actually held the Belleville varsity basketball job for me until I could get certified as a teacher. And then he turned it over to me and protected the job so that I could get it. And he says, Coach, you don't understand. And I'm going to tell you this, Johnny. You don't understand. The kids think it's magic dust. I said, what do you mean magic dust? He said, you don't know? It's magic dust. LeBron James just was born and he shows up. He's a superstar. He's one of the best players on the planet because he has the magic dust. And I got the magic dust. And they believe that. People, you know, they don't try to dig deep enough or allow or make themselves vulnerable enough so that somebody can paint a picture in their minds of the roadmap that they're going to have to take to be successful. I don't care what it is.
Right.
I don't care if it's tiddlywinks. You gotta, you know, hey man, this is what it's going to be, and there's going to be hardship.
Right.
It's not going to be easy. You know, there's no easy. You know, or what did they say? On the other side of hard work is success.
It's success.
This is on the other side of that. You know, everything that you're trying to avoid doing on the other side of that is success.
Right.
So, you know, I love what you're saying, and I love, you know, what the program is all about, and the whole mentality behind it. And again, man, every day I just love being over there. You know, being around those kids. It reminds me so much of when I was a high school teacher for 16 years and a coach. You know, I just loved it then, and always wanted to get back to it, Johnny. And I appreciate you opening up the door for me to be able to get back to that. You know, but I got a question here. You know, we know of the circumstances. Even if, let's say, you know, a kid comes from, you know, has a fantastic home life.
Right.
But some kids, unfortunately, don't have a fantastic home life. But in general, what is the one thing that you would tell most parents? I don't care who they are, what their socioeconomic background is, or whatever. What is the one thing that you would say most parents don't realize about their kids that they need to pay more attention to?
I would say that there's always a reason why their kids act the way that they do, or act out, or behave badly.
Wow.
There's a lot of people are always just they're just a bad kid. I'm like, there's not really, like, there's very, very few like bad kids. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, like psychologically, some people, like, there's a certain percentage of the population who are born like psychopaths or sociopaths. But outside of that, there's some sort of neglect, there's some sort of trauma, there's some sort of incident, there's some sort of hardship that is causing the behavior that we're seeing in these kids, right? So being able to, and that's another thing we're trying to do, like we had talked about getting therapists. Like I've been, ever since we had that conversation, and even before that I had asked, but really you guys bringing it up again really made me take it even more serious. So I appreciate you guys bringing that up, you know, because relationships that you've been able to build in the program, you were like, hey, I think this would be, you know, really helpful. And it made me double down my efforts, and we're actively working to get it so we have therapists available for the students every single day at the program. So I'm pushing for that I've been pushing for it every day since we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm gonna jump in because, you know, one of the things that, as you know, even from the young people that you're currently serving, people don't talk about mental health. And mental health is, I mean, you know, we talk about everything from an athletic perspective, you know, yoga, soccer, basketball, I mean, all those sports. But what's happening with young people who just came out of a pandemic, and how are they responding to really being in their homes for a whole year. And I really want to hear your thoughts on that, because for me, I just know what it did for me, and I just know it played a role in my journey. But I want to hear what you see with the young people.
I mean, I definitely think there's trauma that came with the pandemic, that came with the unknown, that came with people in your family dying. They came with just the fear that a lot of these kids had to go through. There are kids around the country, but especially in districts like Lansing that are behind grade levels in reading and math and numerous other subjects, because they had to go through online learning, and that's just extremely difficult to learn and to retain that information in those types of circumstances, while a global pandemic is going on. And
Right.
A lot of kids go to school for socialization. They go to school for food. It's a way to get away from some of the trauma that they experience at home. So when you just lock them up and keep them in those types of environments, and then exacerbate it by the amount of people who lost their jobs, and parents who are already scared and just doing the best that they can. I mean,
sure,
it's extremely difficult. And I think we have to be a little bit more understanding and patient. Not that we shouldn't be with everybody, but with kids who went through the pandemic in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask another question, because I remember when we first connected that, you did some stuff out in political reign, and hearing your heart right now, are you going to run for office again? Are you going to do something in that space?
I have no idea. Right now, I'm just trying to, help my clients be as successful as possible in lobbying. And I'm trying to, build this program up to be as great as it can possibly be. And, having partners like you guys makes, that even easier, because it really does. It's an old adage, and people may say it's cliche, but it takes a village.
Yes, it is.
It really does
Yes,
take a village.
Yes, it is. There's more to it than just a cliche. It's a reality, and success is, again, built on it. It's a village is a village because there are relationships within the village. When you talk about relationships and what it can do, it literally extends the lives of people.
Absolutely.
Blue zones. I'm sure you've heard of them, but if anyone in the audience don't know what a blue zone is, it's where longevity and life expectancy is way above what it would be here in America. And the number one thing, they equate some of it to diet, and they equate some of it to heredity. But the number one thing in that is relationships.
Wow.
The social interaction, the caring for one another. That's in those blue zones. That is the number one thing.
Wow.
These people live in these small villages, and they take care of one another, and they live, the life expectancy in the blue zones are above 80 years old. And it's nothing uncommon to find people there that live past 100. Nothing uncommon.
Wow.
And it's, they've tested their blood. They've done all kinds of things.
Right. To try to figure it out.
Yeah, to try to figure it out. And the number one thing when it all's said and done is the relationships that they have with other people. And it's a powerful thing. It really is.
It's incredible. No, I appreciate you guys coming in and taking the time to build those relationships with these friends. They may not, and I think a lot of them they do appreciate it. I mean, you guys are starting to see it when you guys come in, like they're showing you love. They're dapping
Right.
And you guys haven't even been there that long. It's only been a few months.
Right.
But you guys are really, I'm genuinely appreciative of the time and the effort you've been putting into these kids, because they need love. They
Right.
need love.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a question. This is more of a, just to kind of put it all in perspective, and this is more for parents and for coaches and teachers and people who are impacting these young people's lives. If you had something that you wanted to share with them, something that you think that if you gave them this idea or planted this seed, that it could grow and they can do the same thing in their space that you're doing in the after school program, what would that be, Johnny? Like, what would that be?
it's not super cut and dry, but one of the things that I would recommend is removing focus on the outcomes. Right.
Yes.
And just
That's powerful.
focusing on the process, because everybody,
Right.
you need to be, scoring 20 a game. You need to be winning. You need to be getting these scholarships.
Right.
I say,
Right.
build the habits that help you have a good work ethic. Are you putting the work in? Are you having a good attitude and treating the people around you well? Right. I mean, if you're doing that sort of thing, like you're working hard, you're working consistently, you have a plan, you treat people well, you're showing up on time, right? You're realizing that you're having a realistic mentality in terms of knowing that you're going to have bad days, but how do you react to those bad days? Knowing that you're going to have days where you may get, a little upset and go off on somebody, you have the humility to be able to apologize for your actions.
Right.
You have the resilience to fail and to continue to show up again and again and again. And if you can do that, good things are going to happen. You're developing character.
I love that.
It's not about reaching a goal. It's not about getting a scholarship or making it to the NBA. It's about developing who you are as a person, because you carry that with you always. There's plenty of people who get scholarships or make it to, pro ball in one sport or another, that haven't necessarily learned how to treat people well or develop that high character that is transferable to all aspects of life. Right. And I would take the one over the other, because the one is with you till the day you die.
Right.
The other, your value disappears as soon as you're not providing value to the team anymore. Right. As soon as you can't perform anymore because you're not a high character type person, you don't have value to us anymore. Right. There's a reason some of those dudes, and it's like, man, why is this guy still on this team? Like, he's 40 years old. Like,
right.
And some of them don't play, or some of them might play because that dude he's on something else, but he's on something else. But some of them don't. I mean, I think of like a Juwan Howard or a Udonis Haslem. Like, they're just certain dudes. People keep them around for a long time. And I'm not saying they're perfect by any means, but there's something to that. There's a reason why people want those people around.
That's right.
And why they get opportunities, as soon as they're done. And it's not, and I try to tell kids all the time, it's really not about getting a scholarship or making it pro. It's about developing your character and becoming a resilient, good human being. If you do that, doors will open.
That's right.
That's powerful, Johnny. That's powerful, man.
Really powerful. Really, really powerful. I love what you said, take the focus off the outcome. Too many times people don't focus on the game plan or the strategy it takes to reach the outcome. And that's most important. You're absolutely right. But Johnny, with all that said, man, we're not gonna take up too much more of your time. We really appreciate having you on the show. We hope to have you again. And we'll be seeing you tomorrow. We'll be seeing you at the program tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on, and I'm happy to come on anytime. So,
all righty, Johnny.
Just reach out.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.